I'm Mary Beth Sewald, the President and CEO of the Vegas Chamber, and I am so honored and happy today to be in Washington, D.C. with the Nevada delegation with the Vegas Chamber and the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. I'm here today with SBA Administrator Guzman. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Excited to be here.
You know, we worked so closely with the SBA throughout the pandemic, and your office was such an enormous resource for our small businesses. First of all, what were some of the biggest lessons learned that you're bringing forward into today's environment to help small businesses?
Well, we learned early on, and the president actually spoke about this issue with me as the first issue he wanted me to tackle, and that was that so many small businesses were not connected to resources. Maybe, and for sure, they didn't have that banker or lawyer on speed dial to be able to help them navigate some of the programs. And so it's why the American Rescue Plan included his Community Navigator pilot program so that we could deploy local partners on the ground to better connect our small businesses to what SBA does best, the capital, the networks, and the resources. And so, we're really thrilled to be advancing an organization that really focuses on serving all of our small businesses, regardless of size.
That's just wonderful. And because, as we all know, in Nevada and every state throughout our country, small businesses are the fabric of our economy, quite frankly. And so this Community Navigator program, is this something that our small businesses could find out about through the SBA website?
Yes, and so SBA.gov website has local resources. It'll connect you to our great district office, our small business development centers, our women's business centers, our veteran centers, our SCORE chapters, and as well our community navigators. One of our navigators working in Nevada is the National Urban League, and we have a great network of 51 hubs and over 300 spokes working around the country to get more small businesses educated and ready to go after opportunities that we see on the horizon.
Well, that's wonderful. We at the Chamber especially appreciate resources like that. Another thing that the workforce tells us, especially in Nevada, is a barrier to returning to work is childcare or lack thereof. And so at the Vegas Chamber, we've been giving away free memberships to our childcare providers to help provide them resources. And I know you also have a childcare entrepreneurship program. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, and Nevada's Senator Rosen is a big advocate on childcare among many other issues. Of course, she sits on the Senate Small Business Committee, so can be a great partner in understanding challenges. But it's when reliable or affordable childcare is the barrier to workforce, that hurts all of our small businesses. And so we are trying to address the supply side and make sure more childcare entrepreneurs can start and be successful and grow. So we've launched an initiative to explore what the challenges and issues are that small businesses who get into childcare face, and putting them through boot camps at our small business development centers and our women's business centers, as well as some of our great navigators as well. We know this is a big issue, and we want to help small businesses get workforce and get them trained. So we're excited to launch this childcare focus.
I know, and what a great resource in education, because there were so many people who when they had to during the pandemic, they started taking care of children and so forth. And now you're providing a way for them to learn how to start this childcare business. That's so exciting.
And it's such a great pathway to entrepreneurship. And so we definitely want to see more providers out there, and we want to help them, use SBA loans to buy a building and just continue to grow and advance.
Well, and I know one of your biggest accomplishments that you were talking about recently was, number one, being part of the solution and helping so many businesses reopen after, quote, the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about how the SBA was able to do that and what's next.
That was such a big challenge when we first walked in the door. Small businesses were still struggling. Schools were closed. A lot of businesses were closed. Yeah. So we know that they needed more relief and to get that funding as swiftly and as flexibly as possible. So we were riding the ship in many of these programs to better serve the small businesses and put out $500 billion more in relief in 2021 to support their reopening and in many cases their growth. Small businesses, of course, are going to leverage every opportunity they see, and that capital help them deploy and advance their businesses. And so we're excited to be a part of this historic economic recovery. And more businesses also opened during this time than ever before. And that, I think, speaks volumes towards their hopefulness for the future, and we know their grit and determination will make progress for the economy as well.
Well, speaking of hope for the future, if there are viewers out there who are thinking about starting a new business, but they're a little nervous or they don't know where to turn, besides an organization like the Vegas Chamber, as the SBA administrator, what advice might you give to them?
Small businesses definitely need a team. You need to arm yourself with resources, and the SBA offers free resources. Connect with your local chamber, connect with the SBA partners on the ground, so that you can learn everything you need to know about strengthening your balance sheet. It's all about the bottom line. You got to build your revenues. You got to get affordable capital to grow. And so we at the SBA are committed to making sure that more people can access that American dream of business ownership.
Well, Administrator Guzman, thank you so much for being with us here in Washington, D.C. on the Vegas Chamber's Fly-In. We appreciate your service and appreciate everything you do for small businesses across the country.
Thank you, and thank you for being our great partner.
Thank you so much. I'm Mary Beth Sewald.